Hey everybody, this is gonna be a video essay for my friend Dre Daly, who asked me this particular question. Um, I'm interested in your opinion now on this. What do you think is the best artificial intelligence on the market right now? And I'm like, whoa, that's a good question because I'm like, how can we evaluate how good an artificial intelligence is? There has been many attempts to evaluate how good an artificial intelligence solution can be, and I'm trying to do in this video is that I'm about to explore the ideas of how we can evaluate a created software's intelligence. So that's the aim and the goal of this event. All right, let's get into it. So historically, there has been I would call it like attempt number one. Attempt number one is basically setting the very hard challenge by which we are about to evaluate and denote and declare intelligence by. What do I mean by that? Well, for example, this very hard challenge in the past was the Turing test, which is a test that's about basically talking and seeing if a computer can convince you that they are in fact not a computer but a human entity. Okay, and this was the Turing test, and at this point, most of the artificial intelligence softwares out there which people are using seem to be defying the odds against this test and pretty much convincing everyone that they could be human. Okay, so or they could not necessarily be a computer because they are very good at talking. All right, so this was attempt one in terms of like setting a very hard challenge by which we can evaluate intelligence. And I do not like this approach. Why? Because the goalpost keeps moving forward and forward. Okay, so that's the idea. And if the given software achieves and surpasses this goalpost, then we can pretty much declare it intelligent. But most people are like, oh, let's redefine intelligence basically because this goalpost turns out to be like too easy for this kind of software. Let's make this challenge even harder and harder, right? So that's basically the whole philosophy of setting goalposts that are unachievable. So we're on if we were to go on this route and try to set given challenges for artificial intelligence to try and attempt and pretty much basically see if they can solve or not, then we're just gonna be surprised by their capability and capacity to solve interesting challenges faster and faster in a more and more intelligent way. And so I don't like this. I don't like this, challenge-based approach to intelligence. Okay, so what alternatives do we have? And that's a good question for that. I do not know the good answer to, but by the end of this video, I'll try to come up with a good one. So I took my time and attempt to listen and talk to real life brain researchers and artificial intelligence researchers, and pretty much they like talking to each other because they see similarities in different things. And at this point in time, we have this great idea about how artificial intelligence may be constructed. Okay, and what are these ideas? So these are opposing views. These are opposing ideas, but they make up a big system together. So there are two opposing principles. One principle is that an artificial intelligence software should know a given set of rules, and according to these given setting rules, it should follow a behavior. And then these given set of rules are predefined, and we can call them logical set of rules. And these logical set of rules are predefined, and then we see if test if these artificial intelligence softwares can follow and behave according to these given set of rules. The challenge is that when they're presented with something that is potentially a new thing that they do not have a set of rules for, then they are unable to deal with that. So there's a new and opposing principle to this, setting rules and dealing with them accordingly, and then dealing with challenges according to these given set of rules. And the opposing principle is that we do not set rules. We just straight up tell the artificial intelligence software to try to improvise and come up with its own rules. Okay, and why is that interesting? Because ambiguity is part of life and part of many creative challenges and questions. So ambiguity is something that we should learn to live with, and so should the artificial intelligence solution. And so this philosophy or aim is to ensure that there are as few rules as possible, but there's the capacity to improvise, the capacity to come up with new things and create its own rules is working to its fullest. Okay, and you can see the difference there, right? Setting as many rules as possible and then following the rules, and then setting as few rules as possible and then coming up with its own rules, but being able to greatly improvise. Whereas, here it's not a great improviser. And then turns out we need both. So why do I say that? Because it's a tricky thing, right? So I use artificial intelligence solutions and softwares to create what? Computer code primarily. And this computer code is unique in a sense that it's made and constructed based on a given set of rules, so that the computer can read it and run it and use it and create it. And but that there is also possibility there for it to be faced with a challenge that has not been seen by the software before. So in that sense, it should not give up, right? It should keep on attempting to create a solution for this unseen challenge, and it should be able to improvise. That's what I'm saying. So and here comes what most artificial intelligence software do. They mix the two philosophies, many rules and improvising together in I would say that in as healthy, as much of a balanced way as possible. All right, so yeah, and then I don't know, probably at this point in time, it's normal for us to observe it not working well. So what do I mean by that? There are some certain solutions, when you test them, or some certain answers when you see them, you immediately know, or if you dive deep into an in-depth analysis, you recognize and realize that this is not the best idea, or not necessarily truthful, because it was improvised, right? And improvisation comes with mistakes. And yeah, it's is the name of the game, creating mistakes with improvisation. But you can always regenerate and regenerate new answers. And by virtue of regenerating new answers, you learn from those previous mistakes and you try to come up with better ones, which may also continue to include some mistakes. Nevertheless, it was a evolutionary process which led to the further development of a given idea and potentially a better solution. So I think it's worth noting that these problems that we currently observe when using artificial intelligence solutions are there. They probably could be fixed in some ways. I don't know in which ways, but probably there is an attempt to create something that they call alignment. Alignment is a construct by which we mean that it does what you ask for, as in a short time possible, as short of a time as possible, and with as few attempts as possible. So the better the alignment is, the fewer the attempts you need, and the fewer time you need to create a solution. And yeah, and it's a fascinating subject because again, the core concepts behind the artificial intelligence is that it needs to be able to improvise and needs to be able to understand rules. And yeah, it's an improvisation comes with creating failures, and rules come with a certain kind of rigidity. And then yeah, it's a mix and a balance of both, right? So what is the new IQ test that I would propose for artificial intelligence solutions? And then that's a good way of thinking about it, I think, or maybe the wrong way of thinking about it, because I just said in the beginning of this video that a challenge-based approach to intelligence, a goalpost moving approach towards intelligence, is something that I do not agree with, do not like to stand by. So what's my creative solution? Well, I think I'm the kind of guy who's looking at it from perhaps a practical point of view. Let's call it a practical point of view. I'm sure there are better words for this, but I'm gonna call it a practical point of view because I'm attempting to create a solution for type 1 diabetics, specifically a new machine learning algorithm with the help of artificial intelligence solutions out there that can help me create a new machine learning algorithm that can help patients, that can help type 1 diabetics reduce the time to learn something new about themselves. Okay? And then specifically, there is a challenge when you live with type 1 diabetes, namely that you use a medication called insulin, and then when you use this medication, you dose your medication. Okay? And then the problem is you oftentimes do not get the right dose, namely you either give too much or give too little to yourself, and that can lead to uncomfortable feelings. And yeah, so what do doctors do? Doctors look at a given time period. A given time period usually means a few weeks, potentially a few months, and then based off of the data they observe over the course of the few weeks or a few months, they give you a recommendation for an adjustment in your doses for the medication. And then what I'm attempting to do is that what if we could shorten the length of time for a recommendation, okay, and give more or more precise recommendations or faster recommendations that can lead to, you know, a certain kind of intervention in your life that you can follow with a given kind of like routine, and you can choose to better your own life by following the recommendation that you had, and that's what I'm trying to attempt to do, like comparing the doctor's recommendations that you get over the course of weeks or months and turning it to days. Okay, so that's the challenge I'm working on, giving recommendations based off of a few days. And I think it's possible. I think it's very possible, but I need a certain kind of algorithm to help me with this. Okay, and the creation of this algorithm has been a challenge for me, and the creation of this algorithm has been something that I've been working on for a couple days now, and it's fascinating to me to try to attempt to create a solution like this, because I know this will be a machine learning algorithm that will try to simulate certain events. Had they have happened in the past, you could have got a better solution. Okay, and then I think it's the right way to go about it. And the way I do it is that I use artificial intelligence softwares for this. And then I try to ask them for the best practices. This is like a recommendation. This is like a knowledge of best practices that they may have that I do not know, because I'm just learning this new field. And they have given me recommendations for best practices, and then I also ask for improvements alongside the best practices. What can I improve on top of these best practices? Okay, which leads to a certain kind of creativity factor, which I like, and so far I'm getting closer and closer to the goal. How do I get closer and closer to the goal? What I do is that I ask the same questions, literally the same questions, from different artificial intelligence softwares out there, and I try to observe if there are differences, and try to observe if the answers align with one another. And if there are differences, I ask them about the differences, and ask them to clarify what's good and what's bad about these given solutions and differences. So there's that. That's what I do, and so far I have been, to answer your question in a detailed way, what is the best artificial intelligence solution out there in the market right now? I would say that the best is the one that best combines this two philosophies, the understanding a given set of rules and being able to best improvise under a given set of circumstances. And so far it has been a French artificial intelligence software that surprisingly understands English well, and most of the language as well. But it's it's a cultural context right there, because French people don't necessarily like using English, in my experience. And this solution, this artificial intelligence software, is called Le Chat. Le Chat is in like the chat, and then the company's name, so Le Chat Mistral. So it's spelled Mistral. Mistral. And you can try to look this up, and it's free. It's in a beta version at this point, meaning that they are not charging for this software, but I already like using it, and I think it's already better than its current competitors. So that's what I would say. So thank you so much for asking me this question. I've been honored to answer this question. Appreciate you, Dre, and looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. All right, see you later.